So before what we discussed about the port assigning. So completed, right? How we can assign the port to the container and the host. So if you want to search the facebook.com is deployed in the container, for example. So deployed as a container, I want to hit the Facebook application. So how you can hit the Facebook application? First you need to hit the host, so then only we can hit the container, right? So that is the reason we need to allow both the host port and the container port. So cmd expose, right? And the Docker file we is the Docker file. In the Docker file we so we created expose, right? Expose is nothing but a container port. So you want to export the host port auto, we can give it in the host port also. Okay. So the container cmd will work on while running the container, run will work on the while building the image, guys. Okay. So Docker volumes. So what is volume? So why we are using volumes? So Docker volume. Docker volumes are used to persist the data generated by the Docker container. So I already told you, right? The example. So Docker container having only 1 GB of a 1 GB of a container, right? It's a 1 GB of a image and the container is 1 GB. So, but I want to store my images. I want to store my logs, app logs, so something like a Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram, whatever the I want to store that logs, right? So only 1 GB and our EC2 instance having 8 GB of a 8 GB of a storage. I want to store the data. I want to store the application logs. So how we can store it? We can store it, for example, you can you can attach the ebs volume to ebs volume, or you can attach the s3 bucket, right? So we need to attach the volume to the container. So volume to the container, if the volume is deleted but the logs, whatever the logs are there in the that space, the EC2 instance having the volume will not delete, just it will delete the container, the volumes will not delete, the logs will not delete. Right, now you understood, guys. Docker volumes are one second. So Docker volumes are used to persist the data generated by the Docker container. Using Docker volume, we can decouple the data storage from the Docker container. Using Docker volumes, we can share the data among multiple Docker containers also. So right. So for example, you created a Docker volume in the EC2 instance, and that Docker volume, the data, whatever the data, it will share it in the other containers also. For example, so facebook.com application deployed in the one container. So so if the other container also Facebook application deployed. So if one application is one container is deleted, it automatically delete the data also, right? The facebook.com that page. So that's the reason. So we can create a volume, and we can that in that volume we can create the index.html. So I will show you. So using Docker volume, we can share the data among the multiple Docker containers. On deletion of a Docker container, volume will not be deleted, right? So volume will not be deleted. So Docker volume commands to display Docker volumes, I will show you, guys. Yeah, you see here how we can share the data from one container to another container. So for example, here having a index.html, and the host file is here the container. Something like if if this container is deleted, this container will not work, right? So how we can share the data from one container to another container? So by using the Docker volumes, by using the Docker volumes. So Docker volume command to display Docker volume using commands. So Docker volume. So we can create our own Docker volume by using the Docker commands also. So to display Docker volumes commands, Docker volume -hyphen help, it will shows the if any Docker volumes are there. Create a Docker volume. How you can create the Docker volume? You can create the Docker volume by using the Docker volume name. So to display Docker volumes, Docker volume ls is nothing but a list. It will shows the list of the Docker volumes. Inspect the volume, Docker volume inspect volume name. So it will provide the detailed information. So remove the Docker volume. I want to remove the Docker volume rm volume name. So remove the unused volumes, Docker volume porn. right guys. So Docker volume creation, the something like method 1 and method 2, method 3 guys. So I will show you method 1 and method 2 and method 3. So here in the method 1, docker pull nginx. So we are pulling the nginx image, docker image from the docker hub, pulling the nginx image from the docker hub. So running the image using the docker container. So run docker run hyphen hyphen name web app 1. So we are providing the name web app 1, and hyphen d is nothing but a detached mode, hyphen p is nothing but a port number. So this is the host post and this is the container port. So we are running as a docker container. So note, access the static website using EC2VM public IP, which is hosted by the nginx. So modify the static website content in the index.html file. This file is available in the container. So I want to connect to the container. How you can connect? Docker exe hyphen it. It is nothing but integrated terminal. Web app 1 bash, bin bash or bash. So go to the cd user share nginx html. So you can change the echo welcome to tech world with Hari and index.html. So then access static website using EC2VM public IP, which is hosted by nginx, right? So docker stop container ID. So once you stop the docker container, docker run hyphen name web app 2 hyphen d hyphen p port number 8080. First we can check it by using the it will be nginx. The next you change it to welcome to tech world with Hari, right? You change it to welcome to tech world with stop the docker container, run the docker. So access static website using the VM public IP, which is hosted by the nginx here. Stop docker container, create a docker volume. So docker volume method 3 is nothing but a create a docker volume, create volume, start docker container, modifying the docker volume and execute this and change it. Access static website using the VM public IP, which is hosted by the nginx. Same we can. So web 20, web 21. So this is nothing but a shared one. So this is a nothing but a shared one, guys. I will show you practically. Okay. So I will show you the practically. So then you will understand. So how we can share the Docker volumes, right? Is the one AWS console.com. I want to connect to the Docker guys, Docker server. Signing using the root email user. So then Fanindra Kumar sign in. Yeah, guys. So go to the EC2 instance. So which region? I want in the North Virginia region. So North Virginia region, right? Then go to the EC2 instances. It may be stopped state. Yeah. So Docker server instant start instance. Public IP. Putty. Appearance. Change settings. Bold. 18. Okay. Authorization. Credentials. To Samsung. Open. Accept. EC2 iPhone user. Sudo su. Yes, guys. So let's check the Docker. Docker. If the Docker is running or not. How you can check it, guys? By using systemctl. Systemctl. Docker status. Docker status, systemctl docker status.
స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి సార్ డాకర్.
Let's check. Docker server only, right? Sorry. Systemctl status docker. Yeah, I enabled it while starting the server. It will start the Docker service also. How we can do it? So we can do it by using the systemctl status. Sorry, enable Docker. So it will enable while starting the server. So it automatically starts while running the Docker, right? So next, you can check the what are the Docker containers are running. So Docker ps-a. So it will check the Docker containers, right? I want to remove it, guys. How you can remove it? Docker
Docker
rm
RMI.
RMI is nothing but image deletion, right?
Okay, sir.
Sorry. Yeah. So it will delete it, right? ps- docker ps-
Okay.
yeah, right. So there is no Docker containers are running, right? So I want to so what are the commands, guys? So first I want to create a I want to pull the Docker
Image.
image. So how you can pull the image, guys? Pulling the nginx image from the Docker hub. What is the commands? Docker pull nginx. So nginx, I am pulling the Docker image from nginx image from the Docker hub, right? Yeah. So Docker, how you can check if the image is downloaded or not? By using so these are my images, right? I don't want these images. I want to remove all these images. Docker rmi remove image. So image id, we can give image id or a image name, right? So this is also nginx rm-rf. So Docker images. So now the Docker images are so this also 3 days ago now. So 5 weeks ago. So yeah, remove everything, guys. Let's check it because of Docker, right? So we need to get the CentOS also. Docker rmi image id. This is image id. This is also image id. I'm deleting everything now. Docker images. Docker images. No images. Docker ps-a. There is no Docker containers are running. Now I want to I want to download the nginx image from the Docker hub. How you can download, guys? By using Docker pull nginx. So nginx is one type of web server. So one type of a web server, right? Docker images. Yeah. So nginx image. So nginx latest image is downloaded. So now what you can do, guys, you can run the Docker. So you can run the container as a image. So what is the command, guys? Tell me, guys. Sunny, Avinash, Pavan.
Run, sir.
What is the I want to run the container as a image. As image, I want to run the container. So what is the command?
Docker run.
Docker run. Image name.
Docker
Image
run.
name or ID.
Yeah, Docker run -name equal to web app. I'm running a Docker container name as a web app one. Okay. So so I want to detach mode, right? Detach mode is nothing but a -d mode. So next I want to
Port
assign a
number.
port numbers. 8080 is the, so first is the host port, the second is the container port. First is the
So
host
always same post number.
port numbers.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
well, it will change.
Yeah, you can, if you want, you can change it. So you can create your own port number. By default, port number is 80 because of HTTP, HTTPS, right? HTTP's port number is 80, right?
Yeah.
So that is the reason we are using 80 port number. Every web server, HTTP is 80, HTTPS is 443. If you want to create your own port, you can create it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Nginx. So from Nginx, we created a name, call it as a web app. -d is nothing but a detached mode. -p is nothing but port name. We are assigning port name. So which image, Nginx image, we run as a container. Nginx image run as a container. The name is web app 1. The name is web app 1. Let's check how to check the Docker container is running or not. What is the command, guys? Docker
Docker
p
status.
ps-a. So ps-a is nothing but a process state, if the container is running or not, right? So how you can check? -a is nothing but a all. So if something, the container is running or not, it will show up status 13 seconds, but it will show exited, right? Exited means the container is not running. So this is up from 13 seconds. Now you can check. So up from 36 seconds, right? The ports are assigned 8080. So the ports are assigned 8080, names as a web1, web app 1. I understood? So container ID, so name and the image. So these are the commands. So it is created 30 seconds, 37 seconds ago, and if it is running up and running 36 seconds. Now you understood, right, guys? Now I want to access this. I want to access this from the browser. Let's check public. So what is the port number? HTTP 80, right, guys? HTTP 80 / IP address. Let's check. Yeah. So this is welcome to Nginx. If you see this page, the web server is successfully installed and working, right? The Nginx web server is successfully working, and the further configuration is required. For online documentation and support, please Nginx. So thank you for this is. So this is the, so this is the index.html Nginx web server. Okay, I want to modify this file to tech world with Hari. Let's check tech world with Hari. Okay, yeah, how you can modify it? So modify the static website content in the index.html file. So is available in a container. So for example, I want to go to the container. So I want to go to the container Docker exec executable mode, and IFE is nothing but integrated terminal. I want to integrate terminal. Which one? So web app 1. Web app 1, or you can use the container ID. You can use the container ID or a container name. What is the container name? Web app. Container ID is, so this is the container ID. So now I am so connecting to bin bash. Bin bash means we need a bash prompt. So I want to connect this container. I want to log into the container. How you can log into the container? By using the docker exe -it integrated terminal. I means integrated, T means terminal. So the docker container name is web app 1. We want to connect the bin bash, right? So now you see I am in the container. You see this is the container. So I am in the container. So directly you can go to cd/usr share the default path for the Nginx, guys. So default path for Nginx is, this is the default path for the Nginx. So now I am in the Nginx. You see index.html, cat index.html, what it contains. So welcome to Nginx, welcome to Nginx, right? So welcome to Nginx, the color available, welcome to Nginx. If you see this page, Nginx server is successfully installed and working. So further confirmation is required. This is the page, guys. This is the page. I want to modify it to echo. Echo is nothing but a print statement. So welcome to what is this, guys? Tech world with Hari.
Hari.
So tech world with Hari. So this is my only name index dot. So it will erase everything, guys. It will erase everything, and now you see cat index.html. So welcome to tech world with Hari. You see, guys, only we change it, right? So note, access the static website using EC2 VM public IP, which is hosted by the Nginx. Modified content should be displayed here, right? So we modified content should be displayed here. Now you understood? One second,
Yes,
guys.
sir.
Yeah, guys. So now access the static website using EC2 VM public IP, which is hosted by the Nginx. Modified content should be displayed here, right, guys? Yes. So now I want to stop this Docker container. Okay. I want to stop this Docker container. So if you want to stop the Docker container, you need to exit from the Docker, right? Yes, I'm exiting from the Docker. Now Docker ps-a. So I want to stop this Docker container. How you can stop the Docker container, guys? Docker stop container ID or container name. So
Name.
container, yeah, name or ID, whatever it may be, guys. You can take the name or ID.
Okay.
Yeah, now the Docker container is stopped. Let's check ps-a. You see, so exited. So here status up and running. This is exited. Okay, so this is exited. Now, so you can run the docker run. No. So hyphen name equal to web app 2. So web 2 -d -p port number 80 80 80, guys. 80 nginx. So now I am running another container. So another container with the nginx, right?
Different names, sir. The web app to.
Web app 2 is a different name. I'm running multiple
Okay.
containers in the one EC2 instance. Okay.
Okay.
Docker ps-a. So Docker ps-a. Now this is up and running. Okay. So now this is up and running. Now let's check the IP address. You see, So I want to share the index.html to these Docker containers. So is it possible? Is it possible, guys? So as of now, there is no possible, but by using Docker volumes, it will be possible, guys. So by using Docker volumes, it will be possible. I want to create a two containers, but I will create a volume and I will share the index.html. I will share the index.html, guys. So I want to, so this is the one container, this is the one container. So each container having the index.html. So if container is modified content, the modified content will not be so displayed here, right? Because of this container is deleted, the modified content will be deleted from the doc if the Docker is deleted. So I want to share the same file. I want to share the same file here. I want to share the same file. So something like index.html. Index.html. So whatever I modified, right? Whatever I modified here, something like a tech world with Hari. So tech world with Hari. So if he created the nginx. So here also created the container from the nginx, right? So but here he modified the content, but it is deleted the container. So I want to see this modified content in this another container. Is it possible? No, not possible. So that's the reason. So we need a volumes. So we need a Docker volumes. Docker volume. So Docker volume, you can create the Docker volume and share the file, and so you can access this file from here, and you can access this file from here. So this is from the Docker volume. So Docker volume. Now I will show you guys. Now I will show you something like stop the container and something like so accessing the static website using the EC2 VM public IP, which is hosted by the Nginx. Modified content should display here, but it not displayed. So from the Docker volume creation. So now, so we can use the method 3 Docker volume creation. So you can create the Docker volume and share that file, and you can access it in the, if one Docker container is deleted, you can access it in the another Docker container. Okay. So let's create the Docker volumes. How you can create the Docker volumes? By using the Docker volume command. Docker volume -help, right? So it will display the Docker hyphen, create the Docker volume command. You can use Docker volume command. What is the command? Create inspect ls porn rm. So to manage the volumes, if you want to manage the volumes, you can use the command. So what are the commands? So create a volume. Display detailed information about the inspect is nothing but a display detailed information, destination information on one or more volumes. So ls is nothing but a list volumes. So porn is nothing but a remove unused volumes. So rm is nothing but a remove the one or more volumes. Okay, guys, now understood? Yeah, I want to create the volume. So what is the command? Volume docker volume create volume. So the volume name is something like a new underscore wall. You see, new wall is created. So new wall is created, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
How you can check docker?
LS.
Yeah, docker ls volume, docker volume ls. Docker volume is created. Now start docker container by mounting the docker volume. Okay, I will remove these docker containers. Docker ps-a docker rm-f forcefully it will remove if it is running. Okay, So Docker ps
PS
hyphen
hyphen
yeah, no volumes are no containers are running. So how you can check the Docker volume? Docker volume
volume ls.
ls. Yeah, one volume is created. Okay, one Docker volume is created. I want to start this Docker container. Okay, run hyphen d is nothing but a detached mode. Hyphen name equal to web app 20. Now I'm giving as a 20 name. Hyphen mount, because of you created a volume, right? I want to mount this volume to the container. What is the command, guys? Hyphen mount.
Mount.
So mount equal to the volume name. So source mount, sorry, mount source equal to. So what is the source, guys? New volume.
New
Create
volume.
new volume, right? Comma destination. Destination equal to, you created a volume, right? This volume will be mounted to the which directory? Which directory? The directory is usr. Guys, what is the default path for nginx? Slash usr nginx slash usr share nginx slash html. This is the volume. This volume want to mount in the new volume. This volume will be this directory will be mounted to the new volume. Okay. So hyphen p port number hyphen p 80:80 slash nginx. Guys, now you here you guys. So mount point you created. So I want to mount this. I want to this mount this volume. So right in the disk partition also. So we created a slash dev sdb1 mounted to slash usr slash share slash nginx slash html. Right. So for example, so this is for example 20 GB. This 20 GB is allocated to which directory, guys? This 20 GB is allocated to this directory, HTML directory. Now you understood? It is mounted to the slash usr share nginx html. Okay. Now you understood? This is the command. So now docker ps hyphen a. Yeah, container is running up and running 20 seconds ago. Again, this is the command, right? Yeah, welcome to nginx. Yeah. So we created a volume. We created a volume and attached to the slash usr share nginx html. Nginx html. And so I want to modify this page now. I want to modify this page now. How you can modify, guys? Cd slash usr share. Sorry. First, I want to connect to the Docker container, right? Docker exec hyphen it integrated terminal, executable integrated terminal, the Docker container ID array, Docker name slash bin bash. I want to connect as a bash prompt. Bash. Right now I am in the container. So now again, so cd slash usr share nginx html. Yeah, nginx index.html is there, index.html. So again, I want to modify this to same echo welcome to tech world with Hari, tech world with Hari to index.html. Guys, HTML having already content, right? Index.html having content. So I want to delete everything and you can add this one only. You can add this one only. Okay. Yeah, let's check again. Cat index dot html. Yes, welcome to Tech World with Hari. So welcome to Tech World with Hari. Yes, understood. So now access the static website using the EC2VM public IP, which is hosted by the Nginx. Right. Now again, I want to add it. You see. So welcome to Tech World with Hari. Welcome to Tech World with Hari. Yeah, I created the mount point, I created the volume and attached that volume to the mount point and the container. Now again, I want to stop the Docker container, right? So exit from the container. Yes, Docker stop Docker ID, right? Container ID. Yeah, here is there, right? Docker stop. So this is that container ID, guys. Yeah. Yeah. So Docker ps hyphen yeah, Docker is exited. So now the container is stopped state. Let's check the your website is running or not. Is running or not, guys? Because of the Docker container is stopped state, right? It will not open the index.html because of the container is stopped state. Now run the Docker container. Docker run -d. So I am creating another container, guys. Hyphen name equal to web app 21. The name of the container is web app 21. Hyphen mount the source. What is the source, guys? The source equal to new underscore wall. New underscore walls and comma destination equal to /usr /share /nginx /usr /share nginx /html -p port number 80:80 nginx. Yeah, Docker is running with web app 21. Other one is, so before it is web app 20, right? Docker ps -a. Yeah, Docker 21 is running and the 8080 port number. Now let's check. Yeah, so it is Tech World with Hari only. So before it is method 2 and method 1. So we created the Docker, right? So we created the Docker and we modified the Docker HTML doc and stopped the Docker. Then so created another container with the same nginx file. But if the modified content is available in the second container, no, because of the both containers doesn't have the volumes, shared volumes. So they don't the both are the individual Docker containers, right? If one Docker container is deleted, it will not share the modified content to the another Docker image, the another Docker container, right? So the method is calling I want to share the file. So if I want to share the file, mm, yeah, so index.html, right? So if you stop it, it will not run. So the host file we modified here, right? So if it is shared, so it will if the one Docker container is deleted, so it will run the other Docker container. So the modified content also. Now you got it, guys? Using host file with the two containers. Using host file with the two containers, right? The next one is The next one is mounting the bound volumes. What is that, guys? A named volumes. Call it as a bound volumes are a named volumes. So bound volumes is nothing but a EC2. You created a volume, right? You don't want to create the volumes in the Docker container. We don't want to create. So directly whatever the directory is there in the EC2 instance, so it will mount it to the Docker container directly. It will mount it to the Docker container directly. So this is the most important topic, mounting the bounded volumes. So host mounting are a bounded volumes, mounting the bounded volumes named as a volumes. Host directory mounting are a bounded mounting volumes. So mounting the bounded volumes named as a named volumes, mounting the bound volumes. Guys, everyone can speak out. So what are the volumes? Mounting the bound volumes, name it as call it as a named volume. So host directory means your EC2 instance directory mounting to the Docker container. Your host directory, what is the host, guys? EC2 instance. So whatever the host directory, EC2 instance directory, that mounting to the directly to the container, so that is nothing but a bound mounting or a named mounting or a host directory mounting. So how can I mount my host mission directory to the Docker container? That is called as a bound mounting concept. So what is, guys? So interview question, how can I mount my host mission directory to the Docker container? So that is called as a
Mind
bind, call it as a bind mount concept. So what is that, guys? So bind
bind
mount, yeah. So
mount
bind,
cons.
yes. Now you got it. So create a directory in the host mission, something like the directory called as mkdir-p temp nginx.html. For example, you created a directory in the host. So you host so temp nginx html. So what is the nginx default path, guys? Share usr share nginx
Zero
html. But
HTML.
you created as a temp nginx html, some other mount point you created. So run the Docker container for the nginx image with the directory mounting. So image with the directory mounting. So Docker run -d -port 8080 -v. So if you want to mount a bind mounting, you can use the -v command. -v is nothing but a so bound mounting. So temp nginx html. This is the source and destination. Source colon destination is usr share nginx html. So hyphen name equal to c1 nginx equal to latest. So what is that? Run the Docker container for an nginx image with a directory mounting. So what is the directory mounting, guys? This is the directory mounting. So how you can mount directly by the Docker volume? So we can use the hyphen mount, source equal to new volume, destination equal to this one. But you can create a host directory mounting. So host directory, you create the directory in the host mission, then you can attach it to the this to the your mount in the Docker container. Okay, so see the container which are running in. So Docker container ls, something like access nginx web server using the host mission public ip. So go to mount point cd temp nginx html, create index.html file. So via index.html, so via hdif.indexml, that index.html is something like so echo that one, right? So let's try this one. Okay, let's try this one. So how you can try this one, guys? You can try this by using the, yeah. So again I want to delete everything. Shit. Duplicate session, ec2 user sudo susua, yeah. Hmm. So how you can check the Docker volumes? Docker volume ls, right? This is the new Docker volume. I don't want this Docker volume. First I want to run the ps-a. I want to delete all the containers. Docker rm -f ID or name of the Dockers. Container ID or name of the Dockers. Okay. So Docker ps hyphen a. There is no Dockers running on our machine. Right. Volumes. Volume created. Right. Docker volume. So Docker volume ls. So new volume is created. Docker volume hyphen hyphen help. So create a volume, remove one or more volumes. I want to remove the volumes. How you can remove the volume, guys? Inspect the volume. Docker volume. What is the Docker volume name, guys? New underscore wall. New underscore wall. Docker volume. Docker volume. New wall. ls wall. Inspect. Sorry. Inspect new volume. Right, guys. Docker inspect new volume. So created a driver local labels null mount pointer where lib docker volumes new volume underscore data. So name it as a new volume. Name it as a new wall. So this is the volume details. So I don't want this volume, right? Docker volume rm new underscore wall. I want to delete the volume. Docker volume ls. So Docker volume is deleted. Now, what is that host directory mounting to the Docker container? Means bind mounting. What is that? Bind mounting. So you want to create a down mounting, create a directory in the host machine first. So mkdir -p parent directory. I'm creating a directory -p. So /tmp nginx /html. Right. I created a temp nginx html directory. Then docker run -d detach mode -p port number 80 colon 80, right? 80 colon 80 80 colon 80 -v. So what is that source code? Source, guys. Source is temp nginx nginx, guys, speak out, html. I created as a, so the volume the directory is /temp nginx to html. So mount it to /usr. What is the default path? usr share
Shared
nginx
nginx html.
nginx html. I'm mounting this to the this directory, host directory. So then hyphen name. What is the name I am giving? I'm giving the name, call it as a c1. I'm giving the name, call it as a I'm giving the name, call it as a c1 or something, like you can create a web 20 web 40, right? So name equal to, for example, name equal to web app 40, web app 40, right, guys? Web app 40. Guys, tell me. Okay, right? Web app 40. So with the, from the which image? nginx. From the image nginx. Docker ps hyphen a. Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? So here now it's check IP address. Through the IP address we can check it again. Yes. forbidden. So because of that nginx, so nginx having the file or not, guys? So nginx having the a file or not, guys? So nginx doesn't have the file, right? So why it is forbidden, guys? So why it is forbidden? So then cd go to temp nginx html. You see, nothing is there, right? We need to create the file index.html. Index.html. So for example, I'm creating a html. html. What is this? I will get it from. I will get it from the html simple examples. Mm, yeah, I'm taking this one. Copy. Yeah, html header title my web page. So hello world. This is my first web page. So it contains a main heading, something this is, guys. So now let's check it. Yeah, now let's check it. So hello world, this is my first web page. It contains a main heading and paragraph. Okay, guys. So now your web page is shared in the this container. Now I am stopping this container. Docker stop container id. So I'm stopping again. Yeah, I'm creating another container. Name call it as a web app one. Docker ps hyphen a. Now let's check. You see, so the second container. So you have a two containers running on this mission. So if something goes wrong on the one container, so the application will not goes down because of, so the other container is running. The other container running with your website. Okay, understood? Yep. Thank you, guys. So this is the host directory mounting wild. So yeah. So as of now, what we discussed in the, guys, what is virtualization, what is containerization, what is Docker, advantages of a Docker, Docker setup, Docker terminology, Docker file, Docker image, Docker hub, Docker container, Docker image commands, Docker container commands. So writing Docker file, Docker volumes, named volumes, bind mount volumes, stateless container versus a stateful container, guys. So real world application, so monolithic application versus microservice application. Okay. So microservice application will show you example. So then Docker compose. Yeah, guys. So what is the Docker compose? You guys, what you can do is something like the task is, you guys learn or watch something like what is Docker compose. So what is Docker compose? So you guys can check it and search it. So tomorrow I will show you. So Docker compose and Docker swarm also, guys. Docker swarm versus Kubernetes. So I will show you tomorrow the difference between Docker swarm and Kubernetes. But you guys can learn what is Docker swarm and what is Docker compose. These two. Okay. Yep, guys. Thank you.
Same.
We'll continue from tomorrow.